Hello, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Bigg World Cinema. Without further ado, we'll continue with what you're here for. And now that we're monetized, please don't skip the ads. Thank you.
I'd visited Ho Chi Minh City before, so I've already done all the sightseeing places, visiting the War Remnants Museum, the Russian Market, the Central Post Office, Chinese temples, plus excursions outside of Saigon to the Cu Chi Tunnels and Mekong Delta. Those who follow my channel regularly, like all three of you, will know that I don't like touristy sites anyway, and would much rather pound the pavements in my Jesus boots. But I do love an art museum, and when I discovered recently in Iloilo that it had a fine art museum, I could barely contain my excitement. So I was keen to see what was on offer at Ho Chi Minh Museum of Fine Art. Ho Chi Minh City Museum of Fine Arts is the major art museum of Ho Chi Minh City, and second in the country only to the Vietnam National Museum of Fine Arts in Hanoi. The building itself was constructed by the French architect Rivera between 1929 and 1934 as a villa for the Hui-Bon Hoa family. Hui-Bon-Hoa, who lived from 1845 to 1901, was a reputable Vietnamese Chinese businessman in southern Vietnam in the 20th century. He was the landlord of nearly 20,000 mansions throughout the city at the time, and named in the top 4 financially powerful men in the city. After Mr. Hoa died, his descendants constructed the mansion to complete his wish at the end of his life, which was to build a house in which all the descendants could reside together. The yellow-white colonial-era mansion is inspired by both French and Asian styles, which creates typical colonial ambiance with marble floors throughout and spacious airy rooms. After the North and South of Vietnam reunification in 1975, all of Hui's, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, all of Hua's ascendants immigrated abroad. The building was reformed into a museum in 1987, and it showcases more than 20,000 artifacts and artworks. The museum is split into three-floor buildings, which house a collection featuring Vietnamese artworks in sculpture, oil, silk painting and lacquer painting, as well as traditional styles including woodcut paintings in the Hang Trong, Dong Ho and Kim Hoang styles, plus Vietnamese ceramics and a collection of ancient Buddhist art. On the first floor, masterpieces from famous local artists are exhibited, describing the culture and life and beautiful landscapes of Vietnam. The second floor introduces modern arts and inspired by a Vietnam War context. This floor's dominant themes are modern art and art after 1975. Archaeological exhibits depicting some of the country's best champa and oak oi relics are displayed on the third floor. The museum was 30,000 dong to enter. That's just over £1 and little more than $1.25. An equivalent art museum in the West would cost 10 times that to enter. Like in the majority of museums, the taking of video is not permitted, both inside the galleries and in their garden. You can take images on your top quality iPhone, but not on a camera that looks like you're shooting video. I was surprised there wasn't more security guards around, so I wandered freely, shooting footage whilst glancing over my shoulder, before a security guard walked over and crossed his arms to show that I was being very naughty indeed. I used to get into trouble for being a bit naughty at school too. I'm a bit of a rebel. Was a teenager during the punk movement in the UK in the 1970s. I'd never survive in a country where my movements were under scrutiny the whole time. The security guard went back to looking at his phone, which was far more important than monitoring the artwork. So I was free to roam, as the B-52s will testify. I loved the building, the narrow corridors with the sunlight streaming through the Louvre doors, and in particular the magnificent staircases and broken stained glass windows. Now on an artistic roll, I also wanted to see the Factory Contemporary Arts Centre in Saigon. Don't tell me they haven't borrowed the name from the legendary Factory Empire set up by Tony Wilson and a couple of others in Manchester, UK in the late 1970s. Factory wasn't in District 1, however. It was 13 kilometres away in District 2. I hadn't been over that way yet. Those unfamiliar with Saigon city will be unaware that 24 districts make up the city, 19 city districts and 5 suburban districts. Districts 1 and 3 are considered the city centre. As I said, factory was 13 kilometres away, and no way was I taking a cab that distance. Then I remembered I had the Grab app set up on my phone in the Philippines and had put money on it, which I had never used. But that credit from the Philippines couldn't be used in Vietnam, so I linked my Starling bank card to it. So getting a Grab taxi was the next best thing, and I was able to film easily.
How's it going? You okay?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. Where are you from?
UK.
Yeah, me too. Where are you from? Where are you from?
London.
Okay, whereabouts?
West, Townsend.
Okay, I used to live in Ealing.
Oh, amazing.
And Chiswick High Road. I lived on Chiswick High Road.
Oh, that's awesome.
Take care.
I'm too much of a scaredy cat to rent a motorbike myself. The last time was 15 years ago on a remote island off the coast of Taiwan in 2008. I was virtually the only person driving around the island. But I didn't ride a motorbike the whole of the time I was in the Philippines. And I wasn't about to take my life in my hands in busy Saigon city. District 2, particularly Tao Dien Ward, houses a large portion of Saigon's expat community and has a large number of restaurants, bars and shops selling European foods, particularly around the high street, Xuong. The area is also home to many large condominium apartment developments, which I hadn't seen many of in District 1 city centre. The motorbike journey took around 40 minutes and cost me 60,000 dong, which is £2 or $2.50, which is insane. So I gave the Grab motorbike guy a 10,000 dong tip for bringing me to a closed down factory. Yeah, closed. I'd researched online. Google said the opening hours might be different as it was Women's Day. Whatever that means. Hey, let's celebrate you're a woman. But it was closed. Had moved to a different premises, closed. There was a sign outside saying where factory had moved to. It was 3 kilometers away, so I decided to walk.
Here at BWC, we are a sharing community. So could you kindly keep Uncle content by sharing this video with your friends? Thank you.
So it's the barber shop set up in the middle of nowhere.
When I arrived in the area, I couldn't locate it. I found a Western girl who was also looking for the new factory. And having walked around the area for 30 minutes, she was giving up. But I kept trying. A Vietnamese lady at a small restaurant pointed down a side street. A group of Vietnamese guys were standing there. Yes, this is it, one of them said. But the building is under construction. So why did a sign at their closed down factory send us to a new site that was not finished yet? Ah!
Any luck? Any good? Any good? What you got? All right. Gosh.
Hết.
Oh no.
No. Chưa fit. Nè, nhiều kìa.
I decided to walk back to District 1. Talk about torturing myself in the midday heat. I love walking. In the UK, I lived by the sea in Brighton on the south coast. Some days I'd take the train a few stations along the line and then walk back along the coast. That ranged from 5 to 15 miles and took all afternoon. Although in those days I had proper trainers on, not Jesus boots.
First haircut.
Alo, điện cho ba, điện cho ba.
So this was an undertaking, crossing the busy bridge across the river and walking against the traffic that barely had a footpath. I didn't even know whether pedestrians were allowed to walk across that bridge. Any minute now I was expecting to hear loud sirens and be picked up by the busies. But 26,000 steps and 3 hours later, I was glad to be back in bustling District 1. A lot of couples get married in Vietnam. That's what you'd assume anyway, with a number of couples in wedding outfits posing on the streets. But that's it. They're just models posing for publicity photographs. I'm always tempted to offer my services. I've covered a few weddings before as a wedding photographer. What? You thought I was offering my services as a groom? Pah! Sadly, Vietnamese women aren't really into age gap relationships, unlike their Filipina neighbours. Not to a grandpa on his final chapter anyway.
Từ từ đợi mọi người từ từ. Em đi trước vợ, hai đứa đi chung một chân nha. Rồi, chân phải bước trước nha. Rồi, đây. Rồi, nhìn đây nè. Máy à. Rồi. Gió. Không. Em phải đi cái chân em đàng hoàng, chân bé đi nào. Thôi rồi, tắt đi không để nó ổn rồi. Qua đây, qua bên đây nè. Đây, cô dâu đi trước đi. Cô dâu đi trước. Đúng rồi. Rồi, nhìn nhau nè. Cười đó nè. Ok. Qua đây.
I appreciate beautiful women. There's a lyric in the magazine Song from Under the Floorboards. I know beauty and I know a good thing when I see it. Others would call this voyeurism. But is it observing this elegant lady sat in a coffee shop in 2023 any different to the subjects of Edward Hopper's oil paintings from the 1940s?
Don't miss out on quality broadcasting. Please like, share and subscribe to Bigg World Cinema. Thank you.
And don't forget to ding the notification bell to see my videos before your friends. See you on the next video. Take care, everyone.